Hello, my name is Alex Yu. I am a professor of data science and artificial intelligence in Hawaii. This photo is taken in North Shore, Honolulu. But I am not the surfer, I am the photographer. In this video I will discuss a sensitive and controversial topic. Is the open source ecosystem functioning as its creators envisioned? What happens when a movement designed to free users from corporate power becomes one of the most powerful tools corporations use to dominate the market? This question sits at the heart of the modern open source paradox. This issue is not about wrongdoing or bad faith. Rather, this is about ideals colliding with economic reality, and of capitalism doing exactly what it has always done. To understand why this feels ironic to many people, it helps to briefly revisit the spirit of open source. The open source movement emerged partly as a response to proprietary software vendors that locked users into expensive licenses and opaque systems. By making source code freely available, open source promised transparency, collaboration, and freedom of choice. The implicit moral vision was not merely technical, it was social. Software, in this view, should empower users rather than bind them to greedy and powerful corporations. Yet open-source licenses, especially permissive ones, were intentionally written to allow anyone to use the code for any purpose, including commercial ones. The freedom was absolute, and that absolutism would later have unintended consequences. Few examples illustrate this tension more vividly than the relationship between PostgreSQL, one of the most respected open-source databases in the world, and Amazon Aurora, a highly profitable, closed-source cloud service offered by Amazon Web Services. While SQL was originally developed by IBM in the 1970s to standardize how we talk to data, PostgreSQL emerged from the University of California, Berkeley in the late 1980s as a more advanced, extensible evolution of that concept. PostgreSQL is a textbook success story of open-source development. It is a mature, enterprise-grade relational database, RDBMS, renowned for its strict standards compliance, reliability, and extensibility. Traditionally, PostgreSQL is designed as a single-node system where compute and storage are tightly coupled. To handle more load, users typically scale vertically by adding more power to a single machine. While it can scale horizontally to multiple servers using read replicas or sharding, these setups often introduce significant architectural complexity. Because it is self-managed, whether on-premises or in the cloud, tasks like failover, performance tuning, and high availability are powerful but remain the responsibility of the administrator. In short, PostgreSQL offers unparalleled freedom and control, but scaling it globally requires expert-level homework, which could be demanding. Amazon Aurora is far more than a managed service. It is a cloud-native evolution of the database. Rather than building from scratch, Amazon leveraged the core PostgreSQL engine, inheriting its decades of reliability and feature richness, and re-engineered the under-the-hood mechanics for the modern cloud. The fundamental breakthrough is the decoupling of compute and storage. In traditional PostgreSQL, these are joined at the hip. In Aurora, they live apart. Aurora's storage layer is a purpose-built, distributed, and self-healing fleet that replicates 6 copies of your data across 3 availability zones. This allows storage to scale elastically and independently of compute power. From the user's perspective, Aurora is PostgreSQL with a high-performance engine swap. It maintains 100% interface compatibility while automating the homework of failover, backups, and scaling. What customers are buying is the open-source soul of PostgreSQL paired with a proprietary, planetary-scale nervous system. Basically, Amazon took the head, the SQL engine, and swapped out the body, the storage layer. From a legal and licensing standpoint, there is nothing improper here. PostgreSQL's permissive license explicitly allows commercial reuse without the obligation to open-source derivative works. AWS follows the rules, just as countless other companies do. It would be unreasonable, and contradictory to open-source principles themselves, to accuse these companies of unethical behavior for exercising rights that licenses intentionally grant. And yet, the irony is hard to miss. Open source was meant to loosen corporate grip, but in practice it has become a way for large firms to reduce research and development costs while accelerating innovation. One might joke, gently, that it's like a neighborhood potluck where everyone brings homemade dishes, and then a professional caterer comes along, plates the food beautifully, adds table service, and charges admission. The caterer didn't steal anything, they just understood logistics, presentation, and scale better than anyone else. The joke lands not because the caterer is evil, but because the outcome feels mismatched with the original communal intent. This brings us to the question of cloud lock-in versus traditional proprietary software. In the old world, lock-in came from file formats, license fees, and vendor-specific APIs. You bought the software, installed it, and paid dearly to escape it later. In the cloud era, the lock-in is subtler. Your data may still speak standard SQL, but it lives inside a proprietary ecosystem of managed services, IAM policies, networking constructs, monitoring tools, and billing models. Migrating away is possible, but painful. Cloud lock-in is less about code captivity and more about operational gravity. Once everything works smoothly, the incentive to leave diminishes rapidly. Is this worse than proprietary software? In some ways, yes. You may be freer at the code level, but more constrained at the system level. On the other hand, cloud services deliver undeniable value, elasticity, reliability, and speed of deployment that few organizations could achieve on their own. For many users, the trade-off is rational and even desirable. Lock-in today is not enforced by contracts so much as by convenience. That distinction matters ethically, even if the practical outcome looks familiar. This pattern of using free open source as a foundation for a profitable business is not unique to Amazon. In fact, it has been the dominant playbook in the software industry for decades. The most famous example is Red Hat Linux, which pioneered the model of turning an open source commodity into a high-value enterprise subscription. Red Hat's business model is essentially the tech equivalent of a bookseller who offers free books but charges you a premium for shipping and handling. While the Linux code itself is open to everyone, Red Hat charges for the delivery, the security certifications, constant patching, and legal guarantees that the software will work in a corporate environment. For a massive bank or government agency, using free community Linux is like visiting a free museum that charges a huge parking fee. The admission costs nothing, but the risk of your car being damaged by system downtime is so high that you gladly pay for the valet service of professional support. This same logic applies to other industry giants like Databricks and WordPress. Databricks took the free data engine Apache Spark and built a massive company by charging for a managed platform that makes the software actually usable for big corporations. Similarly, while WordPress software is free to download, millions pay the parent company, Automatic, for the convenience of high-speed hosting and security. In all these cases, the pattern is the same. The customer isn't buying the free core software. They are paying for the peace of mind, engineering, and infrastructure that makes that software reliable at scale. When Richard Stallman started the free software movement, he aimed to liberate people from being controlled by proprietary software. However, Stallman's nightmare was exactly what we see today: companies taking free software and wrapping it in proprietary services. This is remarkably similar to the strategy used by the German publisher Bertelsmann, which took free Wikipedia content, edited the text, and sold it as a bound encyclopedia. The deeper issue is that open source solved yesterday's problem. It liberated code, but it did not, and perhaps could not, liberate infrastructure, capital, or expertise. They are invisible, but they are everywhere. The anti-monopoly spirit of open source assumed that access to code would level the playing field. Instead, it revealed that the real asymmetry lies elsewhere: in global data centers, elite engineering teams, and the ability to absorb massive upfront costs. Corporations did not subvert open source, they mastered it. From this perspective, the outcome is not a betrayal but a revelation. Open source is idealistic, and that idealism assumes a world where technical freedom translates directly into economic freedom. But capitalism does not work that way. It rewards those who can scale, integrate, and monetize. Corporations win not because they hoard code, but because they orchestrate systems. Consumers benefit from convenience and performance, but they are no longer the primary winners in the moral sense envisioned by early open-source advocates. In the end, it is fair to say that modern open-source usage no longer aligns neatly with its original anti-hegemony ethos. Corporations can and do reduce R&D costs by building on communal labor. The largest gains accrue to those with the resources to commercialize that labor at scale. This is not a scandal, it is simply capitalism behaving as expected. Human nature inclines toward value extraction, not moral purity, and open source, powerful as it is, cannot override that tendency on its own. The movement remains transformative, but its innocence is gone. What remains is a tool, neutral, permissive, and extraordinarily effective, waiting to be used by whoever understands the game best. The relationship between open-source creators and the corporations that build upon their work raises a profound question for the future of technology. Should the community consider evolving its licensing rules, perhaps by introducing copyleft protections that limit how open-source code is utilized in proprietary, commercial services? Or should we accept that the profit motive is a natural driver of innovation, acknowledging that the current system successfully bridges the gap between community creativity and enterprise-grade reliability? I invite you to join the conversation. Share your perspective in the comments, and if you found this analysis insightful, please consider liking and subscribing for more deep dives. If you are an instructor and would like to use this module in your curriculum, please feel free to do so. In the true spirit of the free models we've discussed, this content is available for you to share and use with your students at no cost. Not even a single penny. I promise there are no hidden shipping and handling charges, and unlike a trip to Las Vegas, there is absolutely no surprise resort fee waiting for you at the end. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.